Hi there, Telluriders. Today in our 2020 Kia Telluride, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install CURT's Class III 2-inch trailer hitch receiver. And this is what our hitch looks like when it's installed. It's a Class III 2-inch by 2-inch receiver, so it's going to be great for all of your towing needs. Whether you're hooking up a cargo carrier on it for some extra space, or whether you're hooking up a trailer to bring a boat to the lake for the weekend. It uses a 5/8" hitch pin and clip. Now, one doesn't come included with the hitch, but you can pick one up here at etrailer.com. It also features hoop-style safety chain loops with a very large opening that should be able to accommodate every shape, size, and style of safety chain. It features a 750-pound tongue weight, which is the force going down on top of the receiver. That'll be more than enough for a bike rack loaded up with 4 bikes. It also features a 5,000-pound gross towing capacity, which is how much it can pull behind it. It is rated for use with a weight distribution system, and when using a weight distribution system, your tongue weight will remain the same, but your gross towing capacity will increase to 6,000 pounds. Now, as always, I recommend you verify in your vehicle's owner's manual and ensure you don't exceed any of its towing capacities. And now I've got some measurements for you to help you when deciding on accessories. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, it measures about 4.5 inches. This is important when determining if any of your folding accessories can be placed in the upright storage position without contacting the bumper. And from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, it measures about 15.5 inches. This is important when determining if you need a drop, rise, or raise shank on any of your accessories. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's go through the installation together so you can have the confidence to do it at home. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle. I've already removed the spare tire. We're going to have to get that out of the way to give us more clearance to get our hitch installed. Once you've got that out of the way, we're going to lower the exhaust, but before you do that, you want to put a strap in place to ensure that your exhaust doesn't fall down too far and cause any damage to it. We're just going to hook that in and just cinch it up. To lower down your exhaust, you want to remove the 3 exhaust hangers that are holding it up. There's one here in the center, one on the passenger side of the muffler, and then one at the rear of the muffler. We're going to spray some silicone lubricant on it to make it easier to remove them, and then you can just pry it off. Just using a pry bar here, but in most cases it'll just slip off like that. You'll do the same thing with the remaining 2 hangers. Now that you've got all the hangers loose, you can use your strap to gently lower it down to give yourself some additional clearance. We'll then remove the under shield on your driver's side. There are 3 push pins. Just press your screwdriver in the little slot, give it a little twist, and that'll pop the center of the head out, and then it just drops right out of there. There are 2 plastic nuts that you'll need to remove to get this panel off. Use a 15mm socket. You got to kind of pull downward slightly when removing these. And then we can set our panel aside. The panel here at the back is optional if you want to remove it or if you want to leave it on. You can either trim out on this panel for your hitch to go up, or you can just remove it. I prefer to remove it first and then decide if you want to trim or not to reinstall after you've got the hitch installed, because it's a little bit easier to just take the panel, hold it up there after you put the hitch on to determine where to cut to minimize how much space you have around the hitch, just to give it a nice tight fit. After you've got both the pins removed there are 2 screws that you need to take out for the brackets here. And then you can just pull down on the panel. You can see the clips there. Sometimes you need to give it a little helping hand, but for the most part it just pulls down. And then work it off across the back. The weld nut's located in the bottom of the frame at the back. Some of our hardware will install in the weld nuts located in the frame at the back. To make it easier to get your hardware installed, I recommend spraying some spray lubricant in there, and then using a bristled brush to clean out any dirt and debris that may cause your bolts to hang up. Do this to the weld nuts on the other side of the frame as well. And now with an next set of hands, we'll lift our hitch up over our exhaust, line up the holes in our hitch with the holes in the frame. While holding your hitch up, take the long bolts that come in your kit, place a larger conical tooth washer on it, with the teeth facing away from the head of the bolt, and slide it through the frame. It is going to be a bit of a tight fit due to some of the sealant located on the bottom of the frame. you may have to slide the washer down first and then slide the bolt through in order to get it to fit. Take the smaller bolts that come in your kit and place these smaller conical tooth washers on them with the teeth facing away from the head of the bolt, and then thread it into the weld nuts located in the bottom of the frame. For the long bolts that we slid through, we'll take the larger conical tooth washers, slide them over the long bolts we push through the frame, making sure the teeth go towards the frame, and then place a nut on the other side. You'll repeat that for the remaining 3 long bolts and the remaining 3 short bolts in the bottom of the frame. We can then go back and tighten down all of our hardware. We'll use a 17mm socket to tighten down the smaller bolts at the bottom of the frame. And we'll use a 19mm socket and wrench to tighten down the larger bolts through the side of the frame. We can then go back and torque all of our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. With our hitch torqued down, we can now reinstall our exhaust and our underbody panel that we removed on our driver's side. A little bit of spray lubricant will make it easier getting your exhaust hangers reinstalled. Now, if you do choose to reinstall the panel, you will need to trim it out in order for it to fit. You'll find a template in your instructions to help you mark this out, and we're just going to use a rotary tool to cut that out. I recommend staying on the inside of the lines that you draw, because you can always take off a little bit more later. After you've trimmed it out, you can dry fit it real quick. Just hold it up to make sure it's going to fit around the hitch properly. If you need to trim a little bit more out, you can. And then you can use a razor knife or a file to clean up all the edges. Once you've got it tested out and everything looks good, you can pop your panel back into place and then reinstall the hardware. Don't forget to take your strap back off that you had holding your exhaust up, and then you can put your spare tire back and you're all set. And that completes our installation of Curt's 2-inch trailer hitch receiver on your 2020 Kia Telluride.